I'm going to be very careful today. Regular everyday people often talk about corruption in politics, and that can have very different meanings to different people. So the topic today is not about corruption. What I want to talk about today are the risks that we face when politicians have influences that are too close to them, or how it can be difficult for any person to make the right decisions in an unbiased way, or how it's most difficult when the people that are affected by their decisions are too close to them. What I'm saying today is not that people can't overcome their bias if they really work hard at it, but it is something that it's a risk, and it is something that we have to watch out for. Now, the CBRM has a surprising number of close family or personal relationships between some of our most important leaders in the entire CBRM. Now, remember, I'm not alleging that they've done anything wrong. I'm not alleging that they can't do their job. I'm noting that when those relationships are so close, we're always going to have to watch out for the potential for bias or decisions that might inadvertently be skewed in favor of the people that are closest to them. The Port of Sydney is an important asset. Police and fire service, including our volunteer service, are absolutely vital, and they pose very different management responsibilities for the CBRM. The budget items each year are huge for each of them, and they're growing fast. And we still have a situation where all signs are pointing to a major rift between CBRM administration, the paid firefighter management, and the volunteer chiefs and their members. Now, until recently, the CAO of the CBRM was a family member of the Port of Sydney CEO, and she was an extended member of the police chief. Now, I'm not saying they can't do their jobs well. I'm saying that when relationships are that close, it's very, very difficult for many people to be unbiased or to make the tough decisions without bias. So let's make sure we're clear on what I'm saying today. Now, I've always been pushing for transparency and accountability, and not just because it's election time. You're going to see from the brief clip that comes next, during a live interview with my fellow mayoral contender Cecil Clark 4 years ago, I was aware that he'd hired hand-picked people close to him as mayor, including at least one that Mary Campbell of the Cape Breton Spectator called a political hire, or as the Cape Breton Post suggested he told them was a political position. One was a communications advisor. The other was originally titled, according to the Post, as senior political advisor.
Joe Ward, for Transparency Cecil, can you tell us if CBRM employees Lamy and Bittens are working on your campaign team?
Christina Lehman is not in my office anymore, so
Okay.
that would not be a factor. And my executive assistant is Mark Bettens, and he is on official vacation that he requested. So,
folks, as I emphasized before, these are decent people. It's not a foregone conclusion that there would be too much influence, but we still have to remain vigilant. We have to pay attention to this kind of stuff. We have to have leadership that recognizes these kinds of risks. If Cecil Clark were to defeat me in this mayoral race, his former executive assistant or senior political advisor is now the fire chief for the paid service. And that's something we have to think about, and we have to assess the risk of it. Politicians from political parties are always more influenced by their party than their relationship with their constituents. It's the nature of the political beast. If there are tough questions to ask or tough decisions to make, if we have any intention of healing the relationship between our paid service management and our volunteer chiefs and members of the fire service, can we do it if the mayor has very, very close relationships with the chief? That's a question that's important to ask. And I'm far more worried about the risk with the politician than I am with the chief emergency responder in these situations. I saw the new chief drive by me outside of the CBRM Civic Center the day I filed my nomination papers. He nodded to me, I nodded back. And I have no doubt that as professionals, he and I can both sit down with some of the volunteer chiefs and talk about where we're going wrong or what issues still remain. But I'm also 100% confident that I can do that objectively with no strain on me from having such a close relationship. Our relationship will be professional. It will be about our roles. So what is the key message here today? Relationships in the CBRM with very powerful roles have a lot of overlap with professional and personal relationships. And to be a transparent and accountable municipality that makes the best decisions for the community itself, we have to be vigilant about these relationships. Can we at least agree on that? I'm Joe Ward, and I'm a candidate for mayor in the CBRM election, and I'm committed to doing everything I can to make objective, reasoned, unbiased decisions during my leadership.